Welcome to Brain Junk. I'm Amy Barton.
And I'm Trace Kerr. And while I am a redhead because of henna, my husband and my daughter are natural redheads. And they could go to Redhead Day in Breda in the Netherlands. Since 2005, it's a festival with gingers from over 80 countries. And it's just celebrating people with red hair. And today we're going to talk about everything you never knew you wanted to know about whimsical festivals.
My first and favorite festival is El Colacho in Murcia, Spain, and it is the festival of baby jumping. So good. It happens in mid-June, so it's just happened, and it is a mix of Catholic and pagan rituals and may have begun as a fertility ritual. It originally started around the 1620s and took place on the Sunday after the Feast of Corpus Christi. And so what happens now is gentlemen dress up in red and yellow masks and these very costumey looking suits. It was like red and yellow masked Elvis in one of the pictures. It was really good. And so these fellows, they run through the streets hurling insults at villagers. So if you're out there, they're going to yell at you and they're going to try to whip you with their horsetail whips that are attached to sticks. So they're running through the streets doing this. And then when the drums start, that announces El Salto del Colacho, the flight of the devil. And that means a taballero come and they're going to drive out the evil. What happens is the babies born during that year are placed in the middle of a road on a mattress. And so online, I'll post a picture. It shows 6 babies on a mattress in the middle of the street.
Okay, but not... Let's be clear. It's not 6 in a row like in a line.
3 and 3.
It's 3 babies that got their heads on pillows, then 3 babies. So, and the mattress.
Yeah.
So what? 6 feet of baby?
Yeah, it seems like it.
And then what do they do?
So the devils have been running through the street and they're headed toward the center of town and the babies. And it is their job to leap over the babies in the road, and they symbolically absorb the sins of the babies, and it affords them protection from disease and misfortune. Afterwards, the babies are sprinkled with rose petals and promptly reclaimed by their parents, who probably need a stiff drink after that. I don't know.
It looked really scary. I mean, you sent me some pictures, and I thought, I don't know if I could put my baby down and let this strange guy jump, because what if he trips?
He's wearing Adidas in the picture. It's fine. He's clearly an athlete.
He has sporty sneakers.
Yes. Yeah. But that's one thing the article mentioned. To date, there have been no reported injuries. However, the practice is the subject of debate within the Catholic Church, probably every time this comes around.
I have another sport that also every year people are trying to decide whether or not they should still do it. That's the Cooper's Hill Cheese Rolling Festival in England, more specifically in Gloucester. This is a tradition of death-defying sport that's so dangerous it's often banned.
I'm having a hard time envisioning how cheese rolling. I'm looking forward to hearing why
because
this
it sounds
is
like cheese, crackers, relaxing.
I just kind of envision them grabbing their wheel of cheese and seeing which one rolls down and makes it to the bottom.
So each May, around 40 contestants, men and women, now they run separate races, attempt to chase a rolling wheel of cheese, which is about 9 pounds, down a hill. And you think, down a hill, no big deal. Well, it's 200 yards down a 1-to-2 gradient. So I went and looked that up. That's around a 30% slope. That's very difficult to even walk up or down.
Yeah.
And we've got a video of this, and it's just like a cliff. And they stand up at the top, and the master of ceremonies starts the cheese down the hill. And the cheese can get up to 70 miles per hour. That's how steep it is. And then they sprint down the hill after it. And it's basically a whole bunch of people cartwheeling horribly, falling after the cheese.
Oh, yeah. I'm envisioning like broken fingers and spiral fractures that are hard to explain. I was at the cheese festival. Say no more, my friend. Let's cast you up.
There are dozens of injuries and hospitalizations. I couldn't find anything specific on like Bob died at the cheese rolling festival, but having watched some of this video,
wow,
I don't know. And it's a tradition that dates back several hundred years. It doesn't have a conclusive origin, but there is some thought it was meant to celebrate the end of winter and spring crops. The cheese specific part of it running down the hill, I I don't know. I don't know who was like, let's just take this big wheel of cheese and
Chuck it down the hill.
Yeah,
this is
but
$50 worth of cheese.
yeah,
Kids, run.
You've missed it this year. The next cheese rolling extravaganza is May 27th, 2019. And if you manage to be the first person to survive down to the bottom of the hill, you get this 9-pound wheel of double Gloucester cheese
That just rolled down a hill.
the hill, and it's crossed with red and blue. It makes it look very festive. It looked like there were some signatures or things on it. And then the biggest winner to date, you'd have to beat Chris Anderson. He has won 22 cheese wheels in 14 years.
Whoa.
When asked the secret of his success, he says, just run and try to stay on your feet.
Really? Because I kind of imagine him just hurtling himself down, tuck your arms and legs and roll.
And they don't. There's no tucking and rolling. You would think that the people are falling and it looks like a yard sale of human beings and they're running into, it's like the worst bouncy house experience you've ever had.
Yeah, with not so bouncy.
Not so bouncy. It's just dirt.
And hopefully not too many rocks.
The Cheese Rolling Festival, if you're into extreme sports, it's for you.
That is remarkable.
And now if you want something a little more laid back, but still food related, Amy found a great festival, which this is definitely one of those 9:45 p.m. Amy sends me a text items.
And I have to confess, this is the discovery of my sister Ruth, who I'm going to refer to as my research assistant because it sounds really great to have a research assistant. So thank you, research assistant. You get a raise. So what she found for us is La Noche de Rabaños, which is the night of the radishes. This festival began at the Christmas market held every year in Oaxaca. And the sellers would be there. They'd be waiting for customers. They would be trying to attract customers. And bored sellers would carve radishes to attract buyers. So it started in a very practical, we're killing time. It's almost Christmas. We want to sell stuff and go home kind of way. But it became more of a big deal in 1897. It was declared an official holiday and a radish carving competition. So each year on December 23rd, you can go to the Radish Festival and then it's Christmas.
Did you say 1897?
I did. It's a very old festival.
Wow.
Yeah. People have been carving radishes for almost 150 years.
And these are the little red radishes?
These are not little red radishes. Actually, these radishes are up to 80 centimeters long. That is, for those of you whose brains don't do metric, mine does not. They're about 31 inches. They can be up to 31 inches. So that's, sit at your dinner table. That's 31-ish, give or take.
Oh, from the table to the floor.
Yeah, your tabletop.
That's a good measurement. I like that.
That is I had to look around for a while. Interestingly, in order to make this fair, the city plants their own patches. They are designated plots and assigned. So if you want to enter the competition, you get a randomly drawn plot number. And the city plants over a period of weeks and months. It's 3 months they plant so that you have a choice of different sizes of radishes in your plot. And on day 1, you get to harvest. So 5 days before the Radish Festival, you get to go harvest from your plot. So that in itself would be really festive. You get to go check out what the neighboring plots have and pick your best stuff. You have a whole day for cleaning. Day 2 before the festival is cleaning your radishes.
That'd take a long time.
It might, if you had a whole bunch of 80 centimeter long radishes. Day 3 and 4 are for carving. And this requires some strategy because they aren't going to be displayed until day 5, until the 23rd. So you're carving 2 days in advance, but you need these not to turn brown and you need them to stay fresh. And so one of the people that was interviewed, CNN had a really great article, which we'll link to in our show notes. They would not tell him one of the ways that they preserve them because it's their trade secret.
Ooh.
But they use moss and they squirt water on them to keep them from wilting and browning.
Wow, Night of the Radishes. I like it.
And now in Oaxaca, that's become a very traditional lead into their holidays. It kind of kicks off that Christmas season.
I have a festival that ends the Christmas season.
Excellent.
It's Uphelia, the Fire Festival, and it takes place in the Shetland Islands. Lerwick Island has the largest of the 12 fire festivals that go on. It's a 70 to 90 year tradition that morphed out of older Christmas festivities. It used to be held, well, it wasn't the Fire Festival back then, but back in the day, there was a big party, and it happened usually on Christmas Eve. In 1824, a visiting Methodist missionary wrote in his diary that, quote, "The whole town was in an uproar from 12 o'clock last night until late this night, blowing of horns, beating of drums, tinkling of old tin kettles, firing of guns, shouting, bawling, fiddling, fifing, drinking, fighting. This was the state of the town all night.
Can you imagine how they rolled into Christmas Eve Mass?
Yeah. The street was as thronged with people as any fair I ever saw in England. It's slowly moved to the 24th day after Christmas. So it's in January. They're kind of wrapping up the whole holiday season. Mm-hmm. And it is a celebration of Viking heritage. After World War II, Uphelia became a festival of working class men. Women have never taken part in the festival performing part because what happens, well, they come and watch. But each town has a jarl squad. The jarl is Norse for chief. The squad builds a galley. They build an entire boat, a Viking-looking boat, with the shields along the side and the dragon head, that kind of thing.
Is the boat seaworthy? Do they put this boat in the water?
They do put the boat in the water. So they spend all year building the boat and getting their armor and everything
it's not
ready.
Like the week before we're drinking and building a boat, because I can see that ending badly.
They spend all year building the boat.
Okay.
And then on the day of the festival, the Jarl squad walks through town during the day, and they've got all their gear on, and the Jarl's helmet has raven feathers that stick out from both sides like wings, and everyone cheers and celebrates Vikingness. And then at night, men each have giant torches, and they walk through town. They also have the galley with them. They take it all through town. Everybody's cheering. And when I say giant torches, it looked like flaming soccer balls on top of sticks.
Nice. That's excellent.
They get the galley, they put it in the water, and they throw all of their torches into the boat.
Wow.
Catches on fire. It's this giant firestorm.
They don't even get to ride in their boat?
No, because
they build it and light it on fire.
And they build it and they light it on fire. Well, I think it's hearkening back to the whole Viking funeral kind of thing where you would put your dead leader on there and then set the boat on fire and send them off kind of thing. And one fellow was saying that for him, it was a way to celebrate the end of the year and starting a new one. And throwing the torch for him was like throwing away all his old baggage and then watching it all go up in flame.
I like that.
I know. I was like, I think I need to burn a boat. So that is Uphelia.
I'm having a hard time imagining that happening in any U.S. city where we allow people to wander through the city with lit torches, a giant parade of men with fire.
And it's really narrow streets.
Oh.
So some of the video, I have a video that we'll put
Bring
on
your laundry in?
Yeah, well, in the video, these super narrow streets, and they had a faraway shot at night, and you can see embers coming from these torches, and they're just hitting buildings and then they pull way back and you can see the town and the main street. You can't see the street because there's buildings in the way, but there's this orange glow like it's a forest fire.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all the guys parading through town.
That's a good time of year to do it, too.
Yes, because I know my dad would be like, why do we light off fireworks at the 4th of July? We should be doing it in the middle of winter. Yeah. And I'm like, well, these guys clearly have it. If we're going to set stuff on fire, do it when it's dark and do it when it's not dry.
I think that this also needs to go on the list of brain junk annual activities. We're going to bog snorkeling in the summer and then Uphelia in January.
So once you get done throwing your torches and enjoying Vikings, almost on Valentine's Day in February, you can go... Where are we going to go?
We're going to go to the northern Italian city of Ivrea. This is another festival with historic roots. There was apparently a tyrant ruling over the city, and he attempted to rape a young commoner who was the miller's daughter. And it backfired on him because the young woman decapitated him instead, and the whole city stormed and burned the palace.
Holy crap.
So, happy Battle of the Oranges! They've also, later in their history, there was a defeat of the French in the 19th century. The French had occupied part of Italy. And so they've also brought that in. So there's a little hostility toward the French with this festival. So what happens with this festival? It is over several days, and they have 9 different groups of aranceri. They are orange handlers, and the oranges are representing the old weapons and stones that would have been used in this this impromptu uprising. And the oranges come from, they're not actually grown in the foothills of the Italian Alps where the city is. And so they bring them in from Sicily, and they are the leftovers of the winter crop in southern Italy. So I'm guessing these aren't necessarily fresh, soft,
Wouldn't they
juicy
be
oranges?
kind of hard and
Yes.
dry?
That's what I'm wondering.
I mean, how is that
Or
any better
squishy
than
and
a
moldy?
Well, I would
Oh.
take that over a hard as rock kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I'd rather smell moldy and citrusy than have them.
Uh,
But that is a real risk. So these thousands of people divided into 9 combat teams go through the city, defending the city, and they throw their oranges at each other. And this goes over 3 days. And it ends on the night of Shrove Tuesday with a solemn funeral.
who cleans that up?
That's what I'm wondering. I think that's part of the city, like when we have Bloomsday here. The city
Yeah, but
has
this
street sweepers.
this
But
isn't T-shirts hanging from trees. This
No.
is like an entire city full of rotten fruit.
I kind of imagine it in a similar to like snow removal, or when they come and sweep up the gravel after winter. There's gotta be plows and stuff, wouldn't you think?
Well, maybe, yeah.
Because this is 584,000 pounds of oranges.
oh my gosh,
That was the 1994 estimate.
wow, that's a lot of fruit.
It is. That's an amazing amount of fruit over 3 days. They love spectators. They recommend that you hide behind the nets that they have draped around in certain parts of the city, especially if you have children, because the 1,000 people that are running around the city throwing oranges, you are likely to get caught in the crossfire if you're not behind that. And if you choose to stay on the battlefield to spectate, nobody's going to kick you off, but they're also not going to try to not hit you.
Oh my gosh.
The only way for you to be not hit is to stay behind those nets. And every spectator is encouraged to purchase and wear Barretto Frigio, which is a Phrygian cap. It's red and it protects you a little. But I think if you're imprudent and you're in the way, woe be upon you.
These are a lot of danger festivals.
Yeah.
You and I clearly we weren't like, let's look up the knitting festival or the read a quiet book festival. We went for violent festivals.
I do like the way they end this one. At the end, at the funeral, the carnival closing, the general says goodbye to everyone. And with the classical phrase in the dialect, he says, Arvedse a Giobia an bot, which also saying it wrong, I'm sure. It says, we'll see each other on Thursday at 1. I love that closing, and it means next year for the next festival.
We'll see.
It seems so casual. I'll see you guys at Thursday at 1. But he's talking next year.
And then there's, of course, people who understand him who don't know, and they're like, wait, are we doing this again?
Exactly. I've got enough bruises. I can't do this anymore.
I can't do another one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Battle of the Oranges.
I like Battle of the Oranges. I have a festival that requires people to throw things, but they're not throwing it at each other. It's the Wisconsin State Cow Chip Throw and Festival. So for those of you who don't know, a cow chip is a dried pile of cow poo.
Mm-hmm.
And an interesting thing about cow poo is that it's kind of making a frisbee shape.
Uh-huh.
So this festival has been going on for 44 years. Every fall in Prairie du Sac around Labor Day weekend, it's got all the things you'd find at a typical fair. There's face painting, there's fun foods and all that kind of stuff. But then 40,000 people are turning out for the Tournament of Chips Parade. Which is everything you'd think it would be. Giant fake cow that people ride on. And yeah.
It sounds
so
good.
So there's the Tournament of Chips Parade and then the selecting of your cow chip. People go and they pick their particular chip for solidness and for roundness and for their aerodynamic qualities. And then people throw it as far as they possibly can. The current record is 248 feet.
Wow.
One guy, I watched him, he threw it almost like a discus. He just kind of threw that thing off. And then the winners of the cow chip throwing get a trophy.
Wow. I can see there is some skill here, because if you have a slightly uncured cow chip, they dry from the outside in, I'm sure. And if you've made an imprudent choice, and
It's going to come apart in the air.
and I can see that being potentially dramatic.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're not that.
I feel like
Uncured.
this is a uniquely American thing
For sure.
that we would say, yeah, let's pick that up. And that's definitely a hold my beer sort
Right.
of sport.
This idea started in a bar.
Where some guy was like, I bet you I can throw that farther than you can. And phew, off it went.
Yep. I wonder if it's an honor for the farm that provides the cow chips.
Oh, I would imagine that there is probably somebody who's like, this cow
This
at
is
this
from
time.
Bessie.
Yes.
And she's the winner.
Creates the optimal, yeah.
If you can get a Bessie cow chip, you're definitely in the winning circle.
Oh, absolutely.
Podium finish. So if you've never seen a cow chip, it's sort of domed like the top of a pie too, kind of.
Yes. It's maybe 2 inches thick and then maybe, a dinner plate size or smaller, and then an irregular edge because it's naturally produced.
Oh, yeah.
And then off it goes.
That makes me really happy.
It makes me happy too. It's kind of a country thing.
Yeah.
I have never personally thrown a cow chip. I have,
but not competitively.
I've scooped them. I've done cow cleanup, but
Yeah.
I've never thrown one. I imagine if I had to have siblings, the times that I have been around them, maybe I would have been throwing them at them.
Yeah, camping with no TV is where my cow chip throwing experience
Oh, absolutely.
occurs.
Makes sense.
Has occurred. Mm-hmm.
What's before we go, let's do another harvesty, farmy sort of festival.
Yes, the National Lentil Festival is in our very own Pullman, Washington. It's practically on our back doorstep. My favorite thing about this is their mascot. He is Tasty Lentil.
And he kind of looks like a pancake.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
his friend Dandy P looks like a tuna fish can.
Oh, I haven't seen Dandy
Oh,
P.
you want to see a picture?
I do.
Dandy P?
Oh, actually, I'm thinking that Tasty Lentil, turn it back my way again.
Tasty Lentil is the more authentic of the two.
He almost looks like a Girl Scout cookie.
Yeah, because he has a little green cap. This picture will also be online.
Oh, boy.
And for those of you in our area, this festival occurs in August, so it is yet to come. You could go to this year and experience the Tour de Lentil, which is a bike ride of 50 to 100K, or the Circles of Caring tennis tournament, or the Tasty Lentil 5K, or the Lentil Land Kids area, the 3-on-3 Hoop Classic, coloring contest, Grand Parade softball tournament, Tasty Lentil miniature golf tournament. That's my personal favorite. They have a lentil family of the year. They're on the website. You can go check them out. They have a garbanzo garden this year. And
Ooh.
I messaged my personal Lentil Fest contact and said, what is the garbanzo garden? Because there's no info on the website about what it is. It's sort of a to be announced. He doesn't know either. So I'm hoping beer garden, but who knows? The Garbanzo Garden. So check it out. My favorite thing about this is among the sponsors, you will find Davidson Commodities, and their slogan makes me super happy. It's geeking out on real food and farming. As true nerds, we geek out on connecting people to our local farms and the healthy food they grow. So fun fact, if you do go to Lentil Fest and you do go to the Davidson Commodities group, you might recognize Matt Davidson because on his spare time is an extra on Z Nation.
Ooh.
So in his spare time, he's been in over 30 episodes. It is probable that if you've seen Z Nation more than twice, you've seen Matt as a zombie, and he's been Abraham Lincoln zombie. He was tanning bed zombie. He's had some really good appearances. So say hello and buy some lentils from him.
Yay.
Yeah. Do we have listener mail today, Trace?
Do we?
We do not.
We don't
I just
have
want
listener.
to say that.
We don't have
I'm gonna
listener
start
mail.
saying that every
I will
time.
say that we have had some very nice reviews on iTunes.
Yes,
and
we
so
appreciate
that's been
that.
great. Those are great for the ego. You're having a low day and you go look and somebody says, we listened in the car and it was so much fun and thank you and it's light and it's interesting, and so that's always good. But no listener mail. That really threw me. I was like, wait, am I supposed to have a listener mail?
No, I just enjoy hearing that. I like to say it.
Well, please come visit us at brainjunkpodcast.com. We'll have pictures of the lentil. Wait.
Tasty Lentil.
We'll have pictures of Tasty Lentil and who was the P again?
Dandy P.
Dandy P. There is also going to be footage of Up Helia and the burning boat. And there's going to be pictures of the baby jumping and the cheese rolling. It's just so much excitement. Too much excitement for this and other wonderful episodes. Look for Brain Junk wherever you find your podcasts. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe.
We tweet at My Brain Junk, and you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Brain Junk Podcast. Trace and I will catch you next time when we share more of everything you never knew you wanted to know, and I guarantee you will not be bored.